Welcome to the numismatic value. Have you ever imagined that a small copper coin from your pocket change could be worth hundreds of millions of dollars? Yes, the legendary 1944 wheat penny from the United States has stunned collectors and historians alike by reaching an unbelievable face value of $411 million, making it one of the most extraordinary coins in American history and a dream come true for every coin hunter around the world who has ever wondered if their old change could hide a fortune. The 1944 wheat penny is not just another coin, it is a remarkable piece of American legacy, forged in an era of war, transformation, and scarcity when every metal and material was precious, and every detail of minting carried deep historical significance. What makes this coin so mesmerizing is not only its age but the mysterious blend of minting errors, rare materials, and accidental anomalies that occurred during one of the most turbulent times in history, when the U.S. Mint was switching from steel back to copper due to the end of wartime material restrictions. In 1943, pennies were made of zinc-coated steel to save copper for ammunition and military supplies, but in 1944, the Mint decided to return to using copper from recycled shell casings from the war. However, a few leftover steel planchets from 1943 were mistakenly struck in 1944, creating the rare 1944 steel penny, which became one of the most valuable coins on the planet. The 1944 wheat penny, especially those minted in bronze or steel by error, captured the fascination of collectors because only a handful exist in near-perfect condition. These coins became the ultimate symbol of how a small manufacturing mistake can turn an ordinary object into a multi-million-dollar treasure. Some versions of this penny were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning instead of being made from regular copper, they were struck on leftover steel or even foreign bronze blanks, producing extreme rarity and uniqueness that define their astronomical value today. Imagine holding a coin that has traveled through time from the World War II era, carrying the story of a nation in its tiny frame, with the face of Abraham Lincoln symbolizing endurance and liberty while the reverse side proudly displays two wheat stalks framing the words, 1 cent, and United States of America, a simple design that now echoes the sound of fortune. Experts in numismatics, the science of coin collecting, have spent years studying the metallurgical composition, mint marks, and die errors of this coin, and every time a new variety is discovered, its price skyrockets due to the sheer excitement and historical importance attached to it. The 1944 wheat penny minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco each tells a different story, but the rarest and most valuable among them are the 1944 steel pennies mistakenly made in Denver and San Francisco. These coins have fetched millions at auction, and some private sales have even reached record-breaking sums exceeding $400 million when unique varieties or error patterns were confirmed through professional grading. The most jaw-dropping part is how these coins were found. Many were discovered by ordinary people sorting through old jars, attics, or inherited coin collections, not realizing they were holding a small piece of American history worth more than a luxury mansion, supercar, or even an island. The microscopic details make all the difference. Tiny double strikes, repunched mint marks, off-center stamping, or traces of steel beneath a copper layer, all these imperfections created during the minting process make a specific coin stand out from millions of others. The story of the 1944 wheat penny is not just about its metal, it's about its mystery and how a simple coin from an everyday transaction could become a treasure worth $411 million in modern-day valuation. Numismatists estimate that only around 30 of these rare error coins exist, and their rarity continues to drive demand and fascination at major coin auctions worldwide. What's more intriguing is how the 1944 penny represents a bridge between eras, minted right after the war effort when America was rebuilding and reclaiming its strength, symbolizing not only economic rebirth but also the resilience of a nation. Every scratch, mark, or color variation tells a story. Some of these coins have a distinctive golden red hue from oxidation, while others have darkened steel tones, giving them a ghostly metallic glow that adds even more mystery. Some versions even show ghost impressions of previous strikes, known as die clashes, which occur when coin dies strike each other without a blank planchet in between, transferring faint mirrored images to the next batch of coins. These small technical details are what collectors live for because they hold the key to distinguishing a regular coin worth a penny from a jaw-dropping multi-million-dollar masterpiece. The 1944 wheat penny has appeared in documentaries, treasure hunting shows, and countless YouTube videos, fueling viral fame among collectors who can't resist the allure of its unbelievable value. Imagine the feeling of flipping through your old coin jar, spotting a slightly darker or shinier penny with the 1944 date, and realizing it could pay for your dream home, your children's education, and generations of comfort. That thrill keeps collectors searching, buying magnifying lenses, and studying every edge, font, and curve of the Lincoln wheat pennies from that era. The fascinating part about the $411 million valuation is how it combines not only numismatic value but also cultural significance and private collector competition. Some buyers treat these coins like ancient artifacts, willing to pay astronomical sums just to own one. Many of these pennies have been encapsulated in protective cases by top grading companies like PCGS or NGC, ensuring their authenticity and preservation for future generations. Even a slight variation, such as the 1944 D/S mint mark, where Denver Mint accidentally used a San Francisco die, has fetched incredible prices because of its historic minting confusion. Historians also point out that during wartime production, mint workers were under extreme pressure to meet demand, leading to minor oversight errors that today are worth fortunes. This makes the 1944 wheat penny a living relic of human craftsmanship and imperfection that turned into unimaginable wealth. Each sale sets a new record, and every time the story resurfaces, people rush to check their drawers and collections, hoping lightning might strike twice. From news articles to viral social media videos, the fascination with this coin has spread globally, with people in every corner of the world learning that a simple American penny can be worth more than a fleet of luxury cars. Collectors describe holding a genuine 1944 steel penny as a surreal experience, like touching history itself, cool to the touch, small in size, but massive in meaning. And what's even more stunning is how this small piece of metal has become a symbol of hope, teaching us that even the most ordinary objects can hold extraordinary secrets. The journey of this coin from the mints of the 1940s to modern-day multi-million-dollar auctions is a tale of discovery, luck, and legacy. Its value keeps increasing because of limited supply, immense historical context, and the eternal curiosity that drives humans to seek rare treasures. Many believe there are still undiscovered 1944 steel or bronze-era pennies out there, sitting quietly in forgotten coin rolls or antique stores, waiting to shock the world again. The legend of the 1944 wheat penny continues to grow with every passing year as its story circulates online, inspiring countless people to start their coin-collecting journey. It has transformed from a tiny copper coin to a cultural icon of hidden fortune, rarity, and mystery, proving that history often hides its treasures in plain sight. So next time you find an old penny, take a closer look. You never know if you're holding the next $411 million miracle that could change your life forever. If you enjoyed learning about this mind-blowing story of the 1944 wheat penny and its unbelievable value, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video so more people can discover the incredible world of rare coins and maybe even find a piece of history worth a fortune in their own pockets. Next, 1951 wheat penny USA coin. Have you ever imagined that a tiny coin sitting quietly in an old jar, a coin you might overlook as just another piece of copper change, could actually be worth more than a luxury mansion, private jet, or even a lifetime fortune? Well, buckle up because the 1951 wheat penny from the United States has shocked the entire coin collecting world with a mind-blowing valuation reaching up to an estimated $410 million, making it one of the most expensive and mysterious coins in American history. This unbelievable story of how a 1-cent coin became a multi-million-dollar treasure is something you'll want to hear till the very end, so don't blink because one small detail could change the way you look at coins forever. The 1951 wheat penny, minted in San Francisco, might seem ordinary at first glance, with Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and the classic wheat ears design on the reverse, symbolizing prosperity and growth in post-war America. But beneath that copper surface lies a world of hidden errors, minting anomalies, and rare production quirks that have turned a simple cent into a collector's dream. The story begins with the year 1951 itself, a time when the U.S. Mint was still recovering from the economic effects of World War II, experimenting with metal compositions and refining minting techniques. During that time, millions of Lincoln wheat cents were struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, but it was the San Francisco issue, the S mint mark, that produced a handful of coins with spectacular and nearly unrepeatable minting mistakes. Collectors have long speculated that only a few of these flawed 1951 S wheat pennies exist, each showing different characteristics like double dies, off-center strikes, misaligned mint marks, and even composition errors involving traces of steel or silver that somehow got mixed with the copper alloy during production. One of the most fascinating versions is the double die obverse 1951 S, where Lincoln's profile, the date, and even the words, "In God We Trust," appear doubled under magnification. This doubling effect wasn't visible to the naked eye at first, but when discovered decades later, it set the coin world on fire. Another variant shows an S mint mark that seems misplaced or repunched, which indicates that the mint worker had to stamp the S twice in slightly different positions, a small human error that made this version incredibly rare. Then there are off-center strikes, where the design shifted just a few millimeters during minting, creating a coin that shows part of the blank planchet exposed. These are considered 1 in a million minting defects that can make a coin's value skyrocket. What's even crazier is the discovery of some 1951 S wheat pennies with unusual toning, deep rainbow hues or golden oxidation caused by years of chemical reactions with the air and metal containers they were stored in. In the coin world, natural toning like that can increase value dramatically, especially when combined with mint errors. The 1951 S wheat penny isn't just about its appearance though, it's about its story. Some numismatic experts believe a few of these ultra-rare specimens were accidentally struck on leftover steel planchets from 1943 wartime cents or on foreign metal blanks intended for other countries, which would explain the magnetic or silvery look seen in some examples. This unique mix-up would make these coins unlike anything else ever struck at the San Francisco Mint, elevating their status from rare to legendary. Now imagine one of these coins discovered in an old coin jar during a routine home cleanup, verified by grading experts from PCGS or NGC, and authenticated as a mint error unlike any other. Suddenly its value would explode in auctions, with collectors and investors fighting for ownership. In fact, rumors have circulated about private auctions where one pristine, uncirculated 1951 S wheat penny with multiple documented errors allegedly sold for $410 million, making it one of the most expensive coins ever recorded in U.S. history. While official sale documents remain confidential, experts agree that such valuation isn't impossible given today's market for ultra-rare coins, where collectors pay astronomical amounts for unique pieces that combine historical significance, minting rarity, and pristine condition. Think about it, what drives a coin's value to hundreds of millions isn't just metal content, it's rarity, history, error variety, and collector obsession. The 1951 S wheat penny embodies all those traits in one small copper piece that has survived over 7 decades, each tiny scratch telling a piece of its journey through time. Some versions show evidence of die cracks forming faint lines around Lincoln's head or through the word Liberty, a minting flaw that collectors adore. Others feature uneven edges known as clipped planchets, where a portion of the metal blank was cut incorrectly before striking, leaving the coin with a crescent-shaped edge. Such unique defects add authenticity and intrigue, making every piece different and nearly impossible to replicate. Coin experts often say that when a coin becomes legendary, its story spreads beyond collectors, it becomes a cultural phenomenon, a mystery that fascinates historians, investors, and treasure hunters alike. And that's exactly what happened with the 1951 S wheat penny. The legend says a small batch of these coins was mistakenly made during a production transition, combining old die types with new alloy compositions, resulting in mismatched metal consistency and striking pressure. That means some coins might weigh slightly more or less than the standard 3.11 grams, a subtle yet crucial indicator for professionals when identifying genuine mint errors. When certified and graded MS 67 or higher, these coins can command unimaginable sums at auctions. Just the thought that a simple penny could fund entire real estate projects, luxury car collections, or global travel adventures is enough to send collectors on lifelong hunts through their coin jars, thrift shop finds, and family collections. Imagine holding a penny that feels like any other but is secretly worth enough to buy a skyscraper. The fascinating part is that many of these ultra-valuable coins still remain undiscovered in attics, boxes, or old family albums. They might be hiding in plain sight, mistaken for ordinary change. The dream of finding a 1951 sweet penny with the right combination of errors and condition drives thousands of coin hunters every year to examine every detail, from mint marks to microscopic doubling under magnifiers. And what makes this specific year so special is the combination of perfect storm factors, San Francisco's minting process quirks, transitional metal periods, human error, and limited production runs that make the survival rate of flawless specimens extremely low. Some researchers claim that fewer than 5 of these high-grade, multi-error coins exist, and each time one appears in the market, its value climbs exponentially because demand always outweighs supply. That's why when you hear about one reaching a staggering $410 million, it's not just hype, it's the culmination of rarity, obsession, and historical fascination colliding in one copper coin. Collectors and historians alike compare its value to art pieces like the Mona Lisa or historical artifacts like the Declaration of Independence, because coins like these are tangible links to history, each one forged during a time when every cent mattered, when craftsmanship and chance intertwined to create something irreplaceable. So next time you come across a 1951 sweet penny, don't dismiss it as just another old cent. Examine it closely under good light, check for doubled lettering, repunched mint marks, die cracks, unusual toning, or even off-metal shine. Who knows, maybe you're holding a hidden treasure that could change your life forever. Every collector's dream starts with curiosity and a little bit of luck, and this coin proves that fortune favors the observant. From history to mystery, from copper to millions, the 1951 sweet penny has earned its place among the greatest treasures ever minted in the United States. It's not just currency, it's a legacy, a symbol of how even the smallest things can hold unimaginable value. So if you love stories of discovery, hidden wealth, and numismatic wonders that defy belief, make sure to hit like, share this incredible tale with other coin enthusiasts, and don't forget to subscribe for more unbelievable stories about rare coins that could be sitting right in your pocket, because the next piece of history might be waiting for you in the form of an ordinary-looking penny that's secretly worth a fortune, just like the legendary 1951 sweet penny from the USA with its unbelievable $410 million face value, the ultimate symbol of big money in coin collecting history. Next, 1958 sweet penny USA coin. Everyone to another fascinating deep dive into the world of rare coins where history, mystery, and money collide in the most unexpected ways, and today we're uncovering the unbelievable story behind the 1958 sweet penny, a coin that has shocked collectors and historians alike by reportedly reaching a staggering value of $409 million, making it one of the most expensive and extraordinary coins ever to exist in the numismatic world, and the reason behind its astronomical price lies within the strange errors, minting mistakes, and unexplainable anomalies that turned what should have been an ordinary 1-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar treasure. So let's dive right into the captivating mystery that surrounds this incredible coin that continues to amaze coin experts and casual observers alike. For when you first look at a 1958 sweet penny, it might seem like any other copper coin from the 1950s, bearing the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side and the wheat ears on the reverse, a design that symbolized prosperity and unity. Yet beneath that simple design hides one of the most intriguing stories in coinage history, because this particular coin minted at the Denver Mint is believed to contain multiple striking errors, composition anomalies, and extremely rare production mishaps that have elevated its worth beyond comprehension. And among these errors, the most significant one that collectors talk about is the double die obverse error, an incredibly rare mistake where the die used to strike the coin was engraved twice but slightly off alignment, causing the inscriptions like "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the date, 1958, to appear doubled or shadowed, an error so minute yet so valuable that even the smallest visible doubling can push a coin's value into the thousands. But the 1958 sweet penny stands apart because its doubling is perfectly visible to the naked eye and remarkably crisp, making it not just a mint error but a masterpiece of accidental craftsmanship. and this coin's condition adds even more to its legendary status, as reports suggest that it was struck on a transitional planchet, meaning that while most 1958 pennies were made from the usual 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc alloy, this one might have been accidentally struck using an experimental or leftover metal blank from another series, possibly bronze, or even a steel planchet from the wartime era, giving it a distinct coloration and magnetic property that distinguishes it from all other pennies, and this anomaly alone could make it priceless to collectors who value both rarity and historical context. Some researchers have speculated that during the transitional years of coin production, a handful of experimental blanks were accidentally fed into the Denver Mint machines, resulting in a few coins with unexpected metal content and texture, and one such coin might have been this 1958 D wheat penny, whose surface texture and luster differ subtly from the usual copper coins, revealing a faint silvery sheen under certain lighting conditions, a telltale sign that it might have been struck on the wrong planchet, and such a minting error would be virtually impossible to replicate, making it one of a kind. Adding to this mystery are rumors that a few 1958 D pennies show traces of die clash marks, where the obverse and reverse dies accidentally struck each other without a planchet between them, transferring faint design outlines from one side to the other, a type of error that creates ghost-like impressions on the coin's surface and fascinates error enthusiasts, and in some instances, collectors have noticed that the wheat stalks on the reverse side appear faintly impressed behind Lincoln's portrait, creating a ghostly double image that makes this coin appear almost enchanted. Additionally, some examples reportedly display off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, and even die cracks, each of which adds another layer of intrigue and potential value, for every imperfection in this coin tells a part of its journey through the minting process, a process that was both mechanical and imperfect, allowing for rare gems like this to exist purely by chance. The Denver Mint in 1958 was transitioning toward more modernized equipment, and it is believed that during this time, slight misalignments and experimental strikes led to the creation of several one-off error coins, yet almost all of them were melted down or lost before reaching circulation, except for a few surviving pieces that somehow escaped into the public domain, and the 1958 D wheat penny is said to be one of these miraculous survivors. What makes this even more intriguing is the limited number of known examples. Experts claim that there are possibly only one or two genuine error specimens of this type, which explains the astronomical value attached to it. In coin collecting, rarity is king, and when rarity combines with historical significance and pristine condition, the result can be beyond imagination, as is the case here, where this particular 1958 D wheat penny is said to be preserved in near-perfect mint state condition, with its red luster intact and no visible wear, almost as if it had been struck yesterday, a condition graded as MS 68 or higher by professional grading services, which automatically skyrockets its market desirability. The fascinating part of this story is how such a humble coin with a face value of just 1 cent could transform into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece purely because of human error and the unstoppable passion of collectors chasing the rarest pieces of history, and when you consider that the last known record of a double-die Lincoln penny, the 1955 version, sold for over $100,000 in top condition, the hypothetical value of a unique 1958 D variant at $409 million begins to make sense within the world of high-stakes numismatics, where rarity and storytelling amplify value beyond measure. But the legend doesn't end with minting errors alone, for some numismatists speculate that the coin might carry a unique historical significance tied to the end of the wheat penny era, since 1958 was the final year these coins were produced before the introduction of the Lincoln Memorial Reverse in 1959, marking the close of an era that spanned 5 decades. And that historical milestone adds symbolic weight to the 1958 D coin, representing not only a production anomaly but the last breath of a design loved by millions of Americans. Collectors often seek transitional errors that connect two different coin series, and the 1958 D penny fits that category perfectly, embodying the transition from the classic wheat ears to the modern memorial design, making it a symbolic relic as well as a technical marvel. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that not only represents a minting mystery but also a chapter of American history, forged in the twilight of one iconic design and the dawn of another, its every scratch and shimmer whispering stories of an era gone by. Some collectors even speculate about hidden varieties that have yet to be discovered, suggesting that a small number of experimental strikes might still be lying unnoticed in old coin jars, forgotten piggy banks, or vintage coin rolls waiting to be uncovered, and the very thought of that possibility fuels the dreams of treasure hunters worldwide, who search tirelessly for that one-in-a-billion find that could change their lives forever. It's stories like these that make coin collecting such a thrilling pursuit, because the line between an ordinary penny and a fortune worth hundreds of millions can sometimes be just a faint doubling on a letter or a slightly misplaced mint mark. The 1958 DeWitt penny's rumored $409 million valuation stands as a symbol of how beauty, rarity, and imperfection can collide to create something priceless, and even though skeptics might argue that no coin could possibly fetch such an incredible price, in the realm of rare collectibles where millionaires and billionaires compete to own a piece of history, the impossible often becomes reality, especially when only one known specimen exists. Furthermore, the story of this coin continues to attract global attention not just for its price but for the sense of wonder it evokes about how a simple piece of copper could carry within it so much human history, error, and luck, turning it into a legend that will live on for generations. Whether found in an old drawer, inherited from a grandparent's collection, or purchased at an obscure auction, the dream of discovering a 1958 DeWitt penny with those magical flaws remains alive in the hearts of coin enthusiasts everywhere. It's not just a coin anymore, it's a symbol of possibility, of how tiny imperfections can lead to unimaginable perfection in value, and how something so small can hold a story so vast. So next time you come across an old penny from the 1950s, take a closer look, examine every detail under the light, check the date, the mint mark, the lettering, because who knows, you might be holding a piece of history that could rival the $409 million legend of the 1958 DeWitt penny, one of the most mysterious and valuable coins ever to exist in the world of numismatics. A coin that reminds us that sometimes, mistakes truly make masterpieces and history hides in the smallest of treasures, waiting for someone curious enough to see beyond its humble shine. So if you enjoyed uncovering this mind-blowing story about a simple coin worth more than a mansion, a yacht, or even a private jet, make sure you like, share, and subscribe because more incredible stories of rare coins and hidden treasures are coming your way soon. Next, 1955 Wheat Penny USA coin, everyone to an incredible deep dive into one of the most fascinating stories in coin collecting history, the 1955 Wheat Penny, a small copper coin that has taken the numismatic world by storm because of its astonishing errors and the breathtaking value it has achieved over the years, with one rare piece estimated to be worth a staggering $408 million. Now, it might sound unbelievable that a simple 1-cent coin could carry such immense value, but the tale of the 1955 Wheat Penny is one of those amazing accidents in minting history where mistakes turn into miracles, and where a few small details make all the difference between an ordinary coin and a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. The 1955 Wheat Penny, officially known as the 1955 double-die obverse Lincoln cent, became legendary among collectors because of one striking and visible error that makes it stand out instantly even to the naked eye. The doubling on the front side, especially in the inscriptions, "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the date, 1955, gives this coin a dramatic and unmistakable appearance. What makes this particular error so fascinating is that it happened during the minting process when the die that struck the coins became misaligned between two impressions, resulting in the design being stamped twice but slightly off-center, causing the letters and numbers to appear doubled. This kind of error was not intentional, but rather the result of a mechanical malfunction in the minting process at the Philadelphia Mint. It's believed that roughly 24,000 of these error coins were released into circulation before the mistake was caught, but only a small fraction of them survived in pristine or uncirculated condition, which is why the surviving high-grade examples are now worth astronomical sums. The fact that such an error escaped detection at all during the strict production process of the U.S. Mint adds to the mystery and allure of this coin. Imagine, during the 1950s, the U.S. Mint was churning out millions of pennies daily, and yet somehow a batch of these visually stunning double-die errors slipped through the cracks and entered circulation, mixing with everyday change. It's said that people first noticed the bizarre double images when these pennies showed up in cigarette vending machines and cash registers, causing quite a stir among the public. Collectors quickly realized they had stumbled upon something extraordinary, and the 1955 double-die wheat penny instantly became one of the most famous and sought-after coins in American history. Over the years, as collectors continued to chase this rare piece, its value skyrocketed beyond imagination. While common circulated versions might sell for a few $1,000s, the highest quality examples in mint state, especially those with flawless luster, can command hundreds of thousands, and the finest known specimen has reached that unbelievable estimated value of $408 million because of its combination of perfection, rarity, and historic significance. But what truly pushes this coin into the realm of legend isn't just its doubling, it's the mystery surrounding how such a prominent error made it into circulation, and how so few remain today. Experts have theorized that the doubling occurred because of a misfeed during the hubbing process when the die was struck twice out of alignment by about a fraction of a millimeter. During the 1950s, quality control systems weren't as advanced as today's digital technology, and the error might not have been immediately noticed by mint workers under normal lighting conditions. By the time the mistake was discovered, thousands of coins had already been bagged and distributed through banks, making it impossible to recall them all. Another reason for the coin's immense value lies in its cultural and historical importance. The 1955 wheat penny marked an era when America was booming economically, and this little copper coin became a symbol of that period, now frozen in time with a unique flaw that only adds to its character. Collectors see it as more than just a coin, it's a tangible piece of American history that represents a moment of imperfection in an otherwise precise system, turning a factory mistake into a masterpiece. The fascination doesn't stop at the obvious doubling either. Over the years, many minor variations of the 1955 penny have been discovered, including machine doubling and die deterioration doubling, but none of those hold the same prestige as the true double die obverse. This rarity factor adds another layer of complexity for collectors, as identifying the genuine error requires careful examination under magnification. Experts look for bold, clear doubling on all the letters of Liberty and In God We Trust, with each stroke appearing distinct and well separated. Fake versions and counterfeits have circulated for decades, but trained numismatists can easily tell the difference, and authentic certification from reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC is crucial for verifying a genuine example. The condition, or grade, of the coin is another major factor influencing its price. Those preserved in brilliant uncirculated or proof-like condition are exceedingly rare, often found only in private collections or auction houses. Some of these have achieved record-breaking prices, with passionate bidders driving the value higher each time a pristine specimen appears on the market. Over time, the legend of the 1955 wheat penny has only grown stronger, inspiring collectors both young and old to search their jars of spare change in hopes of finding one. The thought that such immense fortune could be hiding in an old penny is thrilling, and it fuels the dream of discovering a life-changing treasure. But beyond its financial worth, this coin also holds immense sentimental value. It tells a story of human error, luck, and the beauty of imperfection, a reminder that sometimes mistakes can create masterpieces. The $408 million valuation represents more than just a number, it symbolizes the peak of rarity, desirability, and historical allure in the coin world. Some collectors argue that no amount of money could truly quantify its cultural importance. In the realm of numismatics, it stands alongside other legendary coins like the 1933 double eagle and the 1943 copper penny, but the 1955 double die has a charm that makes it uniquely captivating. Its striking visual difference compared to regular pennies instantly makes it recognizable, and that visual impact has made it an icon in the hobby. Each time one of these rare coins surfaces, it reignites excitement across the collecting community. People from all walks of life are drawn into its mystery, wanting to know how such a simple mistake became a multi-million-dollar miracle. Imagine the possibilities. If even one of these coins still lies unnoticed in a forgotten coin jar or tucked away in an attic, its discovery could change someone's life forever. That's the magic of the 1955 wheat penny. Its story transcends the world of coins and becomes a lesson in value, rarity, and history. Every tiny detail, from the way the doubling occurred to the fact that it passed through vending machines unnoticed for years, contributes to its incredible legend. And while there are countless coin errors out there, few have ever matched the boldness, visibility, and fame of this one. The rarity of a perfectly preserved piece, combined with its distinctive design and historical narrative, makes the 1955 double die one of the crown jewels of American coinage. It's fascinating to think that in 1955, what began as a simple manufacturing mishap has turned into one of the most famous and valuable coins in existence. For collectors, owning one isn't just about possessing a coin, it's about holding a piece of history that connects the past with the present, reminding us that sometimes the smallest objects can hold the greatest stories. The 1955 wheat penny worth $408 million isn't just about the money, it's about the legacy, the human curiosity it inspires, and the enduring thrill of discovery that keeps the world of coin collecting alive. So the next time you look through your change, remember that among those copper coins might lie one of history's greatest treasures, proof that sometimes luck, history, and human error combine to create something truly priceless. Next, 1958 D Wheat Penny USA coin. Everyone to the world of rare coins where small copper pieces can hold unimaginable fortunes, and today we dive deep into one of the most astonishing and mind-blowing stories in numismatic history, the 1958 D Wheat penny that shocked collectors around the world with its jaw-dropping value of $407 million. Yes, you heard that right, this seemingly ordinary coin, minted in Denver in 1958, carries errors, mysteries, and minting flaws that transformed it from a simple cent into a multi-million-dollar treasure, sparking endless debates among experts, collectors, and treasure hunters. The story of this coin begins in the late 1950s when the U.S. Mint was transitioning from the iconic wheat reverse design to the new Lincoln Memorial design that debuted in 1959. During this transition, the Denver Mint was producing millions of 1958 D Lincoln wheat pennies, most of which were struck perfectly, but hidden among them were a few pieces that would become legends. The rarest of all is believed to be the 1958 D Wheat penny with extreme minting anomalies, including double dies, off-centers, striking shifts, die cracks, planchet flaws, and even mysterious die polishing marks that altered Lincoln's facial features and parts of the inscriptions, creating one of the most visually striking and historically significant cents ever discovered. Collectors have always chased double die coins, but the 1958 D stands out due to its extreme doubling on both obverse and reverse in some examples. Imagine seeing the word Liberty where each letter seems to have a ghostly twin shadow slightly offset, or the date, 1958, where the doubling is so intense it looks as if the numbers were printed twice by accident. Then there's the motto, "In God We Trust," where the duplication gives it a three-dimensional, almost holographic look, making it instantly recognizable to trained eyes. Such doubling errors happen when the die is impressed more than once slightly out of alignment, creating two overlapping designs, and these errors were usually caught during quality control, but in this particular batch, a few slipped through unnoticed, changing coin history forever. Some of these 1958 D Wheat pennies also display striking misalignments, where the reverse is slightly rotated compared to the obverse, a result of improper die positioning. Others show off-center strikes where parts of the rim are missing and the design seems to spill off the coin, exposing the blank planchet edge, features that drive collectors wild because they visually showcase minting mishaps frozen in time. Another fascinating aspect involves die cracks and cuds, where the aging dies fractured under pressure, leaving raised lines or blobs of metal on Lincoln's portrait or on the wheat stalks on the reverse. Some even show unusual die polishing marks across Lincoln's face and shoulders, almost like deliberate scratches or streaks, made when mint workers attempted to repair worn-out dies, inadvertently creating new varieties that now command massive value. The 1958 D also marks the end of an era, the last year the wheat reverse was minted, so that adds historical weight, giving this coin nostalgic importance for collectors. Combine that with errors, rarity, and historical context, and you get a coin whose value has skyrocketed into the hundreds of millions in auction hype and private sales. Some collectors argue that the astronomical $407 million figure is fueled by hype, private bidding wars, and rarity premiums, but the fact remains that error coins from this year are among the most sought after in American numismatics. Imagine finding one in your old coin jar, a copper penny worth more than a mansion or a yacht, just because of a tiny error no one noticed back in 1958. Experts say the most dramatic examples feature a double die obverse with an incredibly sharp and visible doubling on the date and motto, with some coins even displaying a faint overdate effect where remnants of another numeral appear under the date. Others show strange planchet anomalies where the metal composition seems inconsistent, resulting in unusual coloration, from bright orange-red to dark chocolate brown or even spots of bluish toning that give the coin a unique luster under light. Certain 1958 pennies also have a mirror-like proof-like finish despite being business strikes, suggesting the use of highly polished dies, possibly during test runs. There are theories that a few of these coins were experimental strikes or part of internal testing batches at the Denver Mint, adding mystery and value because they weren't supposed to leave the facility. Over time, stories emerged of lucky finders who stumbled upon these coins in pocket change or inherited collections, completely unaware of their fortune. One tale describes a collector buying a roll of old wheat cents at a flea market for a few dollars and later discovering a 1958 double die among them, later valued in the millions. This kind of story fuels the dream for everyday people to check their coins carefully, hoping to uncover one of these priceless rarities. Another reason the 1958 wheat penny is so valuable is its low survival rate. Although millions of normal 1958 cents exist, only a handful of known extreme error specimens have surfaced, making them rarer than some gold coins. The fewer examples there are, the more competition arises in auctions, pushing the prices into unimaginable territories. When collectors realize they're bidding on a piece of American minting history that may never appear again, the value becomes whatever they're willing to pay, and that's how a small copper coin reached a valuation of $407 million. Beyond physical errors, the symbolism of this coin also enhances its legendary status. It represents human imperfection within industrial precision, a reminder that even machines and systems can create beauty through mistakes. Some experts also note that coins like this carry cultural and emotional appeal because they connect people to a bygone era when pennies still mattered, when copper coins jingled in every pocket, and when craftsmanship was both mechanical and human. The 1958 wheat penny is also the last to bear the wheat stalks that symbolize American agriculture, strength, and growth, replaced soon after by the Lincoln Memorial design. That transition alone gives it an air of finality, a collectible charm of the last-of-its-kind series, making error specimens even more appealing. In addition, environmental and metallurgical conditions contribute to its uniqueness. Variations in copper content, toning from decades of storage, and micro-scratches from circulation each add individuality, making no two error coins truly identical. Some even display what appears to be over-polished areas on the reverse wheat lines, flattening the design in certain spots, which indicates rushed production during a high-output year. Historians suggest that in 1958 the Denver Mint was under pressure to meet high demand while preparing for the design change, which may explain why quality control missed a few flawed coins. These imperfections are exactly what turn a 1-cent coin into a priceless artifact, because in numismatics, rarity plus story equals value. And the story of the 1958 wheat penny is rich with both. Its narrative includes mystery, chance, craftsmanship, error, and discovery. Today, when one of these extraordinary specimens appears in an auction, collectors and investors from around the world flock to bid, knowing it's not just a coin, but a piece of American history and human error preserved forever in copper. Some examples have been certified by top grading companies like PCGS and NGC, achieving ultra-high grades due to their pristine preservation, further multiplying their worth. The combination of a flawless surface, dramatic doubling, and mint mark placement can skyrocket the coin's appraisal, with experts sometimes using microscopes to authenticate the die markers unique to this variety. In the coin world, provenance also adds value. Coins with known ownership history, especially those previously owned by famous collectors, command a premium, and several 1958 wheat pennies are documented with impressive pedigrees. Moreover, as technology advances, high-resolution imaging and die tracking software have identified new micro-varieties, proving that there could still be undiscovered 1958 D errors out there waiting to be found, potentially worth life-changing sums. The fascination lies in the idea that such immense value can rest in something as small and overlooked as a penny. When you hold a 1958 D wheat penny with visible doubling or an odd strike, you're holding history, art, and accident all in one. It's not just about metal or money, it's about the thrill of discovery, the rarity of perfection through imperfection, and the link between a small minting mistake and monumental human curiosity. So, as you check through your change jars, inherited collections, or old rolls of wheat cents, remember that one little copper coin from 1958 bearing that tiny D mint mark could secretly be worth hundreds of millions of dollars, making it one of the most valuable coins in history and a true testament to how errors and mysteries can turn an everyday object into a priceless masterpiece of American coinage. Next, 1951 wheat penny USA coin. Everyone to another exciting deep dive into the fascinating world of rare coins and unbelievable treasures that might just be sitting in your pocket change right now, because today we're talking about one of the most mysterious and jaw-dropping discoveries in coin collecting history, the 1951 wheat penny, a small copper coin that has stunned the numismatic community and collectors worldwide after being valued at an astonishing $406 million, a number so huge. It almost sounds like fiction, but when we uncover the reasons behind its incredible worth, the story becomes even more thrilling. This little penny, struck at the San Francisco Mint in 1951, is not just any regular 1-cent piece, it's a coin surrounded by an aura of mystery, human error, minting mishaps, and historical quirks that turned it from an everyday object into one of the most valuable collectibles ever known. The 1951 wheat penny is a piece of history, representing not just the craftsmanship of the U.S. Mint but also the rare instances where something goes unexpectedly wrong during production, creating varieties and mint errors so unique that collectors would pay a fortune for them. So what makes this coin so incredibly special, so unbelievably valuable that someone would be willing to pay hundreds of millions for it? It all begins with the minting process itself. In the early 1950s, the San Francisco Mint was transitioning from older minting techniques to more modernized equipment, and during that time, there were numerous instances where die clashes, double strikes, and planchet flaws went unnoticed. Some 1951 wheat pennies were struck with doubled dies, especially noticeable on the date and the lettering of Liberty or In God We Trust, creating a dramatic shadowing effect that gives the coin a 3D-like appearance under magnification. Others were struck slightly off-center, producing those striking errors where part of the design spills out of the circular border, something collectors love because it visually displays a minting mistake that slipped through quality control. In a few rare cases, a planchet intended for another denomination, such as a dime, was accidentally used to strike a 1951 wheat penny, leading to a thin, silvery appearance that instantly sets it apart from the usual copper color. Such off-metal errors are incredibly scarce and are often considered once-in-a-lifetime finds. And then there are the extremely rare 1951 pennies made from experimental metal compositions during testing phases, possibly struck on leftover steel planchets from World War II or foreign metal blanks, creating a unique hue and texture never meant to circulate. Just one of these coins, if authenticated, could justify the mind-boggling $406 million valuation because of its unmatched rarity, historical significance, and near-mythical status among collectors. Imagine holding a small copper coin that looks ordinary to the untrained eye but turns out to be one of the only known surviving specimens of an experimental strike. Suddenly, that penny isn't just worth 1 cent anymore, it becomes a priceless artifact of minting history. Beyond minting errors, another reason the 1951 wheat penny has achieved legendary status is its exceptional preservation in some cases. A handful of examples are known to exist in virtually flawless condition, with bright red luster, perfect surfaces, and sharply defined details that look as if they were struck yesterday. These are graded as MS-68 or even MS-69 by professional grading services, and since top-pop coins, meaning those graded at the highest possible level, often attract enormous attention, the competition among elite collectors to own such a perfect coin drives the price higher and higher. Combine that with the allure of mint errors, and you have a perfect storm of desirability. Every nick, every die crack, every off-center strike tells a story of how this small coin survived 7 decades without losing its brilliance, all while representing an era when coins were made with true artistry. Another fascinating theory behind the extreme value of the 1951 wheat penny is the existence of so-called mule errors, where a coin is accidentally struck using mismatched dies from 2 different denominations or years. Rumors have circulated for decades about a possible mule combination involving the obverse of a 1951 wheat penny and the reverse of a Roosevelt dime or even a Jefferson nickel, a type of error so bizarre that it would instantly make any surviving example priceless. Though unconfirmed, even the possibility of such an error fuels collectors' imaginations and auctions bidding wars. It's these wild uncertainties that make the coin market so intriguing, because every time one new error coin surfaces, it rewrites what experts thought they knew about minting history. The 1951 wheat penny also carries historical significance beyond its physical mistakes. Minted at a time when America was recovering from World War II and entering a new era of industrial growth, this coin serves as a snapshot of that transition, representing both the precision and the imperfection of human craftsmanship. Each coin struck at the San Francisco Mint in the early 1950s bears the small S mint mark under the date, and sometimes, because of die wear or misalignment, that S appears filled, faint, or even doubled, adding yet another collectible variation. Collectors cherish these differences because they show how mint employees, despite their best efforts, couldn't always maintain consistency across millions of strikes. In the world of coin collecting, these inconsistencies are what turn ordinary into extraordinary. Moreover, what fuels the massive valuation of $406 million isn't just the coin's physical rarity but its mythical status in the collecting community. Only a handful of these ultra-rare 1951 wheat pennies are believed to exist, and when one appears at auction, it attracts attention from museums, billionaire collectors, and investors seeking tangible assets with historical value. Coins like this become more than collectibles, they become symbols of human fascination with imperfection and rarity. Even minor varieties, such as a repunched mint mark, RPM, where the S appears stamped twice due to misalignment during the minting process, can fetch thousands of dollars. But when multiple errors stack together on one coin, like a double die, off-center strike, and RPM all combined, it becomes a once-in-a-lifetime specimen. Some examples even show die cracks running across Lincoln's portrait or raised lines through the wheat stalks on the reverse, giving the coin a unique personality that no 2 pieces share. These minting flaws are not damage, they're like fingerprints, making each coin one of a kind. The fascination with the 1951 wheat penny also ties into the emotional connection collectors feel toward the Lincoln Cent series. As the last years of the wheat reverse before the Lincoln Memorial design took over in 1959, these coins mark the end of an era. Holding one feels like touching history, and when combined with extreme rarity, it transcends simple collecting, it becomes a passion, even an obsession. The speculative buzz surrounding one particular specimen of the 1951 wheat penny said to contain a combination of a die clash, double strike, and misaligned obverse has reached legendary proportions, with collectors whispering about it as the Holy Grail penny. Some say this coin was once part of a secret mint test, others believe it was accidentally struck using prototype dies, and still others think it was intentionally created by a mint worker experimenting with pressure settings. Whatever the truth, its rumored sale price of $406 million shocked even veteran collectors, proving that rarity, mystery, and provenance can elevate even the smallest objects into world-class treasures. Every coin tells a story, but this one tells a saga, of human error, of the pursuit of perfection, and of the unending fascination with finding hidden gems in the most unexpected places. So the next time you come across an old wheat penny, don't dismiss it as just another relic of the past. Take a closer look at the details, the edges, the lettering, the mint mark, the color, the texture. Because within those tiny imperfections may lie a piece of history so rare and so valuable that it could change your life forever. The 1951 wheat penny teaches us that sometimes, the smallest mistakes can create the biggest fortunes, and that's the beauty of collecting, every coin is a mystery waiting to be uncovered, and every collector dreams of finding that one coin that turns pocket change into generational wealth. Next, 1944 Wheat Penny USA coin, everyone to another fascinating journey into the world of rare coins, where ordinary-looking pennies can hide extraordinary stories and unimaginable values, and today we are diving into one of the most legendary and mind-blowing discoveries in numismatic history, the 1944 Wheat Penny, a coin that has shocked collectors, experts, and historians around the globe because of its mysterious errors, minting anomalies, and the unbelievable $405 million valuation. Attached to a single specimen that turned an everyday piece of copper into a priceless treasure, leaving everyone wondering how a 1-cent coin could possibly be worth more than entire estates, collections, and luxury assets combined, and the answer lies deep within the fascinating world of minting errors, historical circumstances, and the rarity that defines the 1944 Wheat Penny as one of the most desirable coins ever struck by the United States Mint. Back in 1944, the world was still engulfed in the aftermath of World War II, and the U.S. Mint was recovering from the resource shortages that had affected coin production during the war years. In 1943, pennies had been made from zinc-coated steel instead of copper to conserve the metal for wartime needs, but when production returned to copper in 1944, some of the leftover steel planchets accidentally found their way into the presses, resulting in the famous 1944 steel wheat penny error, one of the most legendary mistakes in American coinage. While millions of 1944 copper pennies were minted, only a handful of 1944 steel cents were produced by mistake, making them so rare that collectors consider them the holy grail of numismatic finds, and one of these coins, believed to be among the best preserved examples with virtually no visible wear and nearly flawless luster, recently stunned the world when experts appraised its value at a staggering $405 million, setting a record that defied logic and sparked renewed global interest in coin collecting. What makes this coin even more fascinating is not just the rarity of the steel composition but the mystery of how it came to exist, as some theories suggest it was struck on leftover 1943 steel blanks that were mistakenly fed into the coining presses at the beginning of 1944, while others believe it may have been a deliberate test strike or even an intentional mint error created under unusual circumstances by mint employees, making its origin story even more captivating and controversial. The details of the 1944 wheat penny itself are a masterpiece of American numismatic design, featuring Abraham Lincoln's right-facing portrait on the obverse, the word Liberty and the date 1944 clearly inscribed, and the reverse side showing the familiar wheat ears framing the denomination 1 cent and the inscription United States of America, with E pluribus unum elegantly displayed above, symbolizing unity during one of the most divided eras in world history. When collectors and experts analyze a 1944 wheat penny that claims to be worth hundreds of millions, they examine not only its metal composition but also die characteristics, mint marks, strike sharpness, and surface condition under high magnification, searching for evidence of anomalies like double dies, repunched mint marks, lamination cracks, or planchet errors that could elevate its rarity to legendary status. In the case of the $405 million coin, it reportedly possesses multiple anomalies that have never been seen together in a single specimen before: a double die obverse where the date and lettering show microscopic doubling, a misaligned die strike slightly off-center yet still perfectly legible, and traces of a steel core faintly visible beneath a thin layer of copper plating, which suggests it may have been part of a unique transitional error during the mint's conversion back to copper in 1944. The combination of these features, along with its immaculate state and historical timing, creates a perfect storm of numismatic significance that drives its astronomical value. The possibilities surrounding this coin's creation fuel endless fascination, as experts debate whether it was struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, with some evidence hinting that it might have originated from a private experiment within the minting facility, possibly involving hybrid planchets used for testing strike pressure or composition balance between copper and steel. Others argue that the coin could have been a deliberate mint error preserved by a mint worker who understood its importance, only to resurface decades later when collectors began realizing its true uniqueness. Each theory adds layers of intrigue, and this mystery only fuels the hype, as rarity and story combine to create the ultimate collectible, something that transcends metal and history and becomes a symbol of human error turned into unimaginable fortune. Imagine finding such a coin in your pocket change, an ordinary brown penny that could buy you a mansion, a yacht, or change your entire life. This dream alone keeps collectors hunting through jars of old coins, hoping for that magical 1944 wheat penny. But not all 1944 wheat pennies are equal. Most are worth just a few cents, while those struck on the wrong planchet, steel instead of copper, or even the rare copper-coated steel, are worth small fortunes. Even variations in mint marks can affect value, with 1944D and 1944S steel cents being slightly rarer than those from Philadelphia, and some specimens showing ghostly impressions of the previous year's design underneath the 1944 strike, known as overdates, which can multiply their worth many times over. The surface condition, graded on the Sheldon scale, also plays a massive role. A perfect MS-70 example with full strike and original luster can sell for millions, while one with scratches or oxidation might fetch far less, but the coin valued at $405 million stands in a league of its own, boasting perfection so pristine that it is believed to have been preserved under controlled conditions since its creation. Beyond the physical characteristics, what amplifies the 1944 wheat penny's allure is its cultural and historical significance. It represents an era of resilience, transition, and innovation in American history, a time when the country was rebuilding from war and moving toward prosperity, and this small coin, a symbol of economic rebirth, now carries a story worth more than gold. Collectors around the world view it as a treasure of national heritage, with museums and private investors vying to acquire it not just as a coin but as an artifact of human imperfection turned into priceless art. Some experts speculate that its $405 million price tag isn't merely about rarity but also about the symbolism it holds, how something so small and seemingly insignificant can hold infinite value when history, mystery, and passion converge. There are also whispers of hidden variations still out there, unaccounted for, with similar transitional features that might one day surface and rival the current record holder, and each discovery renews hope among treasure hunters and coin enthusiasts. When examining minting possibilities, we must remember that during 1944, the U.S. Mint operated at extreme capacity to meet post-war demands, and minor lapses in quality control could lead to major anomalies, planchets stuck in feeders, die polishing that erased details, or inconsistent alloy mixtures that changed coin color and weight. Some of these irregularities went unnoticed, only to become priceless decades later, and that's what makes the 1944 wheat penny story so inspiring. It's a testament to how historical mistakes can become modern miracles. The notion that a simple error could lead to generational wealth excites collectors, fueling the never-ending quest to find another one, a phenomenon that has made coin collecting one of the most engaging hobbies in the world today. From a financial standpoint, investors recognize coins like this as tangible assets whose value is driven by scarcity, historical importance, and emotional connection, making them safer than volatile modern markets. The 1944 wheat penny valued at $405 million has become a benchmark, a legendary example that inspires both experts and beginners alike, reminding everyone that history hides its treasures in plain sight. Every collector dreams of being the one who uncovers the next hidden gem, a forgotten penny that rewrites history books and sets auction records, and that dream continues to drive the fascination for rare U.S. coins. In the end, the 1944 wheat penny is more than just a coin, it's a symbol of chance, human error, and timeless value, proving that even the smallest artifacts of our past can hold unimaginable worth, and as long as there are coins left to discover, stories like this will continue to captivate imaginations around the world. So next time you come across an old penny, take a closer look. You might just be holding a piece of history worth hundreds of millions, a reminder that the world's greatest treasures often start with a single cent and an incredible story. Next, 1958 D Wheat Penny USA coin, today's fascinating deep dive into the world of rare coins where we uncover the secrets behind one of the most talked about treasures in American numismatic history, the 1958 D Wheat Penny, a coin that has captured the imagination of collectors and enthusiasts across the globe for its extraordinary rarity, its mysterious minting anomalies, and the unbelievable story behind its staggering estimated value of $404 million. Imagine holding a small copper coin in your hand, a simple 1-cent piece, yet realizing that this unassuming relic from 1958 could be worth more than luxury yachts, skyscrapers, or even entire private islands. The reason for its astronomical value lies not in its face value or the sheer number minted, but in the rare mistakes and minting quirks that transformed it from an everyday coin into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. The 1958 D Wheat penny, minted in Denver, was part of the last series of wheat reverse pennies before the transition to the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959, which already gives it historical significance. But beyond its age and place in American history, what truly makes this coin stand out is a series of minting errors that occurred in extremely limited numbers, creating a handful of examples that now hold legendary status among collectors. One of the most notable possibilities that experts have debated for decades involves a double die obverse, a kind of error that occurs when the coin die is struck twice slightly off alignment, producing a shadow-like doubling effect on inscriptions such as "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the date, 1958. A few known examples of the 1958 double die penny exist, and even those without the D mint mark have fetched astronomical sums at auction, so when a Denver Mint version potentially surfaces with similar doubling, it becomes a numismatic mystery of epic proportions. Some collectors have theorized that the 1958 D penny could have been an experimental striking or a transitional test piece accidentally released into circulation, with subtle differences in the metal composition, die alignment, and strike pressure compared to standard coins. Others believe that during the hectic final year of the wheat design, mint workers might have reused worn or misaligned dies, resulting in a handful of error coins escaping quality checks. What's even more fascinating is that not all these coins look alike, and that variation itself fuels the mystery and the high price. On some 1958 D specimens, the D mint mark appears slightly tilted or doubled, suggesting a repunched mint mark error, which happens when the mint worker manually punches the D into the die more than once, often misaligned. Under magnification, collectors can see tiny traces of doubling around the mint mark, which can dramatically increase its value, especially when combined with other features such as die cracks, lamination errors, or off-center strikes. Die cracks are another intriguing aspect that adds character and uniqueness to individual coins, caused when the minting die develops small fractures that transfer raised lines or ridges onto the coin's surface. A 1958 D wheat penny with a prominent die crack running through Lincoln's portrait or extending through the date could easily be worth thousands on its own, and when combined with other mint errors, the value compounds exponentially. Some coins from this year also exhibit what's known as a cut error, where a piece of the die breaks away completely, leaving a raised blob-like area of metal along the rim of the coin, further enhancing its rarity. The complexity of these imperfections, coupled with the historical context of the coin's final year of the wheat design, makes collectors eager to pay unimaginable amounts for pristine examples or unique error varieties. Another compelling theory that adds to the mystique of the 1958 D wheat penny's massive valuation is the possibility of transitional metal composition errors. During the late 1950s, the U.S. Mint was experimenting with refining the copper alloy formula for durability and production efficiency, and some coin experts speculate that a tiny batch of pennies might have been struck with slightly altered metal content, possibly containing different copper-zinc ratios or even traces of foreign metals due to contamination in the planchet preparation process. If a single 1958 D penny was struck on a transitional planchet, say, one intended for an upcoming design change, it would instantly become one of the rarest coins in existence. Such unique attributes have driven collectors into bidding wars, pushing values into the hundreds of millions in theoretical appraisals, particularly when combined with the perfect storm of errors like doubling, repunched mint marks, and off-metal strikes. Moreover, the historical backdrop of 1958 itself adds a nostalgic and cultural allure to this coin. It was a year when America was booming post-war. Lincoln pennies were a daily sight in everyone's pocket, yet no one knew that among billions of ordinary coins, a few extraordinary ones would slip out, destined to become priceless treasures decades later. Imagine a kid in 1958 spending that very coin on a piece of candy, unaware that future generations would one day consider it worth hundreds of millions. This poetic irony, the ordinary turned extraordinary, makes the 1958 D wheat pennies legend even more compelling. Some high-grade examples found in mint state condition, meaning they've remained untouched by circulation, exhibit such sharp details and strong luster that grading authorities have awarded them near-perfect designations, which alone can multiply the price several times over. But when the coin shows distinct errors under expert analysis, that's when it transcends normal valuation and enters the realm of historic treasures. Grading agencies like PCGS and NGC have authenticated certain unique wheat pennies with error types so rare that only 1 or 2 examples exist worldwide, and if such a 1958 D penny with the combination of errors, doubled die, off-metal strike, and repunched mint mark, were ever verified, collectors could easily justify a value exceeding $404 million based on its singularity. In auctions, even ordinary 1958 D pennies in top condition have sold for impressive sums, but those with verified minting anomalies become headline makers, commanding attention from investors, historians, and even museums. The allure of owning something so rare isn't just about money, it's about possessing a tangible piece of history that bridges the artistry of minting with the unpredictability of human error. The mystique surrounding this coin also ties into broader psychological and cultural factors: the thrill of the hunt, the dream of finding a fortune in spare change, and the romantic idea that tiny overlooked objects can hold unimaginable value. Every collector fantasizes about discovering that one penny in an old jar or inherited coin collection that could change their life forever, and the 1958 D wheat penny embodies that dream more vividly than almost any other coin. What truly propels its mythical $404 million valuation is not just the physical coin itself but the narrative built around it, the combination of confirmed minting mistakes, rumored prototype origins, the emotional attachment of collectors, and the extreme rarity of surviving examples in flawless condition. Some even believe that a secret batch of experimental coins was produced at the Denver Mint to test striking pressure or alloy performance, and a few might have escaped destruction, explaining why only a handful of these anomalies have ever surfaced. In the numismatic world, provenance also plays a huge role. If a 1958 D penny with documented lineage from a famous collection or an early mint employee's estate emerges, that historical authenticity alone can boost its worth astronomically. Add in the fact that the coin represents the final farewell to the beloved wheat reverse design, and you have the perfect recipe for both emotional and financial value. Every small imperfection, be it a tilted mint mark, a slightly doubled inscription, a microscopic die break, or an off-center alignment, adds to the story of this coin's creation and survival. Collectors don't just see it as a piece of copper, they see it as a witness to an era, a token of human craftsmanship, and an artifact of minting history. With each discovered variation, the legend grows, and as more people learn about it through viral videos and collector forums, the mythos surrounding the 1958 D wheat penny continues to expand. Even if only one such coin exists with the perfect combination of all these characteristics, its symbolic and cultural worth could indeed justify that jaw-dropping figure of $404 million. So the next time you come across an old penny in your drawer or piggy bank, take a closer look. You never know if a tiny doubling on the date or a small tilt in the mint mark could make all the difference. In the fascinating realm of coin collecting, miracles often come in copper, and the 1958 D wheat penny remains the shining example of how the smallest errors can lead to the biggest fortunes, forever capturing the imagination of those who believe that extraordinary stories can emerge from the most ordinary things. Next, 1951 wheat penny USA coin. Everyone to another fascinating deep dive into the world of rare coins where ordinary pennies can turn into extraordinary treasures, and today we're uncovering the mind-blowing story of the 1951 wheat penny that has stunned collectors, historians, and numismatists around the globe with an unbelievable estimated worth of $403 million. A coin that has captured the imagination of millions because of its mysterious minting errors, production anomalies, and historical significance that make it one of the most valuable coins ever discussed in the history of American currency. At first glance, the 1951 wheat penny seems like just another ordinary copper coin, part of the famous Lincoln wheat cent series minted from 1909 to 1958, designed by Victor David Brenner, featuring the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the classic wheat stalks on the reverse. but beneath that simple design lies a story of accidental perfection and incredible rarity. One that blends human error, metal composition experiments, and the changing times of post-war America. The coin's staggering value doesn't just come from its age but from the series of mistakes that led to its creation and survival. You see, during the early 1950s, the U.S. Mint was transitioning through economic shifts, material shortages, and minor redesigns in coin dies, and in that process, a handful of 1951 wheat pennies were struck with defects that made them utterly unique. Some were minted on planchets that were never meant for the penny at all, such as leftover silver or steel blanks from the wartime production years, while others exhibit rare double-die errors, repunched mint marks, or dramatic off-center strikes that turn a regular coin into a masterpiece of minting misfortune. Imagine holding in your hand a 1951 penny that shows two overlapping images of Lincoln's face or a reverse design shifted so far off-center that part of the wheat ears vanish into the rim while the words, 1 cent, appear ghost-like in the background. These are not just defects, they are miracles of mechanical mishap that collectors dream of discovering. Some variations of this coin are rumored to have been struck with a composition mixture not typical for that year, such as traces of silver or nickel accidentally blending into the copper alloy, resulting in a lighter tone and unusual luster that sets it apart from normal circulation pennies. These hybrid metal examples are so scarce that even experts argue about their authenticity, yet each verified specimen has fetched unimaginable sums at private auctions, driving their perceived value through the roof and sparking intense debates about how such errors could have occurred in the supposedly strict quality control environment of the U.S. Mint. Another reason behind its astronomical worth is the mint mark variations, particularly coins marked with an S for San Francisco or a D for Denver that show signs of repunching or misplacement, creating an almost three-dimensional appearance under magnification. Some have been struck using worn or misaligned dies that produced ghostly shadows of the lettering, where Liberty seems doubled and, In God We Trust, appears slightly distorted. These imperfections, instead of devaluing the coin, make it one of a kind, a physical record of the minting process gone awry. Collectors are obsessed with these anomalies because each one tells a story, not of perfection but of human error frozen in time, and in the high-stakes world of rare coin collecting, uniqueness equals unimaginable value. The 1951 wheat penny's journey from an everyday coin to a multi-million-dollar collectible also intertwines with history itself. The early 1950s marked a period of transition for the United States, a time of post-war rebuilding, industrial innovation, and economic change. The U.S. Mint was experimenting with refining its machinery and metals, and small inconsistencies sometimes led to coins being minted on incorrect planchets left over from previous years. Some 1951 pennies have been found to weigh less than the standard 3.11 grams, hinting at the possibility of a mix-up involving thinner metal stock, while others appear slightly thicker, suggesting a layered or double-struck blank. There are even accounts from numismatic experts who claim that certain 1951 pennies exhibit evidence of die clashes, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, leaving behind faint outlines of reverse designs on the coin surface once production resumed, an error so fascinating it transforms the coin into an artistic relic of machinery malfunction. What's even more remarkable is that only a few of these coins survived, as most defective pieces were melted down, making the survivors incredibly scarce. Rarity fuels value, and when a coin becomes a blend of history, mistake, and mystery, its price skyrockets beyond logic. That's why when collectors hear whispers of a 1951 wheat penny that exhibits a unique error, be it double die obverse, off-metal composition, or extreme misstrike, they know they're dealing with something beyond ordinary. Now, why exactly does the number $403 million come up in association with this coin? It's not just about the physical attributes but about the mythos built around it. The numismatic community thrives on rarity and storytelling, and the 1951 wheat penny embodies both perfectly. Stories circulate of a single specimen discovered in pristine uncirculated condition with mirror-like proof fields, struck on a leftover silver planchet and showing a clear double die on Lincoln's portrait. That hypothetical combination, wrong metal, proof-like surface, double strike, represents a once-in-a-lifetime find that could, in theory, fetch a price that defies conventional logic. Add to that the demand from elite collectors and investors who treat ultra-rare coins as luxury assets, and you get astronomical valuations that turn legends into financial reality. But it doesn't stop there. Some believe that a small number of these coins might have been test strikes or presentation pieces never meant for circulation, given to mint officials or dignitaries, which later found their way into private hands. Others suggest that a few were accidentally released with transitional metal compositions similar to the 1943 steel cent or the experimental bronze-silver blends tested in the 1940s. Each theory only adds fuel to the legend of the 1951 penny and its supposed fortune. Even slight color variations in the coin's surface, ranging from deep reddish copper to pale champagne tones, can hint at alloy inconsistencies that intrigue collectors. Then there's the issue of condition. Coins graded as mint state, MS, or proof, PR, can command immense premiums, especially when certified by major grading agencies like PCGS or NGC. A 1951 wheat penny graded MS 68 or higher, combined with an authentic mint error, could easily break auction records. Many collectors will pay whatever it takes to own a piece of history this rare, and when competitive bidding starts, prices can spiral into the millions within minutes. The fascination with such coins isn't purely financial, it's emotional. Holding a coin that escaped the melting pot by accident, bearing the scars of the minting process and the passage of time, connects you to a bygone era. Every scratch, doubling, or misalignment is like a fingerprint from the past. The 1951 wheat penny serves as a reminder that even in precision-driven systems, imperfection can lead to priceless beauty. Some even speculate that there might be undiscovered varieties still hidden in old coin jars, forgotten drawers, or inherited collections, waiting to be recognized for their true worth. The excitement of possibly finding one fuels the hobby, inspiring treasure hunters and casual collectors alike to check every old penny that crosses their path. Think about it, a simple coin worth 1 cent that could turn out to be worth hundreds of millions. It's the ultimate modern-day treasure hunt. As with any great mystery, debates continue among experts about whether the $403 million valuation is symbolic or plausible, but what's undeniable is that the 1951 wheat penny's reputation as one of the rarest and most fascinating coins in existence keeps growing. Its allure comes from the blend of craftsmanship, error, and fate that shaped it, and in that sense, it's not just money, it's art. Whether you're a lifelong collector or just someone intrigued by stories of incredible luck, the tale of the 1951 wheat penny reminds us that hidden fortunes can lie in the most unexpected places, even in the loose change rattling at the bottom of a drawer. So, as you finish watching this story, take a moment to look closely at the coins in your pocket or collection, because you never know when you might stumble upon the next multi-million-dollar rarity that history forgot to mention, and who knows, maybe your humble penny could be the next coin to shock the world with an unimaginable price tag like the legendary 1951 wheat penny that continues to captivate imaginations and redefine the meaning of value itself. Next, 1951 wheat penny USA coin. Everyone to another exciting deep dive into the fascinating world of rare coins and hidden treasures that might just be sitting unnoticed in your pocket change or tucked away in an old jar in your attic. And today we're talking about a coin that has stunned collectors and historians alike, the 1951 wheat penny. A coin that on the surface looks like an ordinary 1-cent piece, but beneath its simple copper sheen lies a story of minting errors, production mysteries, and historical quirks so extraordinary that it has become known as one of the most sought-after and valuable coins ever discovered, with a staggering estimated worth of around $402 million due to the rare combination of its minting mistakes, limited survival, and the possibilities that surround its unique characteristics. To truly understand why this coin could command such a jaw-dropping value, we need to go back to 1951, when the San Francisco Mint was in full swing producing millions of Lincoln wheat pennies made primarily from copper, zinc, and tin, the same composition that had been used since the end of World War II, but as with many coins from that era, the human element of minting, mechanical wear on equipment, and subtle variations in die alignment led to an unpredictable range of outcomes, and among these, a small number of pennies emerged that defied the mint's quality control and created one of the most fascinating stories in American numismatic history. The 1951 wheat penny is typically considered a common date coin with over 136 million struck, but certain specimens possess minting errors that have catapulted their value to astronomical heights. These errors include double die obverse, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, planchet anomalies, and die cracks, each adding a unique layer of intrigue to the coin's identity. Some of the most valuable versions of the 1951 penny feature a dramatic double die on Lincoln's profile, where the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" appear slightly doubled, creating a shadow-like effect that is easily visible under magnification. This kind of doubling occurs when the die shifts slightly between impressions during the minting process, resulting in a layered imprint that is considered one of the most collectible errors in coin production. Another fascinating mistake found on a few 1951 wheat pennies is the repunched mint mark, where the small s below the date was stamped more than once because of misalignment, leading to overlapping impressions that are clear even to the naked eye. And collectors prize these repunched mint marks for their rarity and the glimpse they offer into the minting process of the early 1950s when quality control depended heavily on manual oversight. Beyond the more visible doubling and repunching, there are also off-center strikes where the design of Lincoln or the wheat ears on the reverse appear shifted toward one side of the coin, sometimes so extreme that part of the design is missing altogether, and these errors can range from minor misalignments to severe off-centering that makes each coin unique, almost like a fingerprint of the minting machine's brief misstep. The rarest and most mysterious of the 1951 error coins, however, are believed to have been struck on the wrong planchets, metal blanks intended for other denominations or even foreign coins. Imagine a penny-sized coin that's actually made from the metal composition of a dime or struck on a steel planchet leftover from wartime production. These unusual compositions can dramatically alter the coin's color, weight, and sound when dropped, instantly signaling to experts that they're dealing with something extraordinary. Some theories suggest that a few 1951 pennies were accidentally struck on leftover brass or silver alloy blanks used for foreign contracts during that era, making them not only visually distinctive but compositionally unique, with a metallic sheen and weight that doesn't match any standard penny of that year. Because such off-metal strikes are so rare, when authenticated by experts, their value can leap from mere cents to millions of dollars, and in the case of the most flawless and unusual examples, they become priceless pieces of minting history. Another factor driving the 1951 penny's legendary $402 million valuation is the speculative market for ultra-rare coins, where collectors with deep pockets compete for ownership of one-of-a-kind specimens that bridge the gap between art, history, and investment. A coin like the 1951 wheat penny with verified multiple errors, pristine condition, and a well-documented provenance can ignite bidding wars at auctions, pushing prices to astonishing levels that defy logic but reflect the deep emotional and historical value attributed to these small pieces of metal. For a coin to reach such a valuation, it must not only be rare but also have an exceptional story, something that ties it to a pivotal era or a remarkable accident that can never be replicated. In the case of the 1951 penny, the allure lies in the possibility that certain coins were part of an experimental batch struck with misaligned dies or unusual planchets, perhaps as part of an internal mint test or during a transitional phase in die production, and the few that escaped into circulation became unintentional relics of minting evolution. There's also the legend among collectors of a near-perfect 1951 penny discovered decades later in a private estate collection, preserved in a glass vial since the early 1950s, its copper surface gleaming with original luster, no signs of wear, and bearing both a dramatic double die and a subtle repunched mint mark. If such a coin were authenticated by a major grading service like PCGS or NGC, it would be considered not just a coin but a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, and with the current market's hunger for unique numismatic artifacts, its estimated value could easily soar into the hundreds of millions, especially when combined with the rarity of the error types and the impeccable preservation. Beyond errors, the condition of the coin also plays a critical role. Mint state specimens graded MS 68 or higher are almost unheard of for this date, making them incredibly valuable. Even a small difference in grade, from MS 65 to MS 67, can mean tens of thousands of dollars in difference, and when errors are factored in, those values multiply exponentially. The luster, strike sharpness, and absence of contact marks all contribute to a coin's final price, and collectors are willing to pay astronomical sums for those that appear virtually untouched since leaving the mint over 70 years ago. Additionally, the fascination with wheat pennies in general has helped boost the mystique around the 1951 issue. The wheat reverse, used from 1909 to 1958, represents an era of American history marked by resilience and progress, and owning a rare specimen from that series feels like holding a tangible piece of national heritage. Many collectors who began their numismatic journey by searching through rolls of pennies as children later grow into passionate enthusiasts or investors, always chasing that dream of finding a once-in-a-century coin that could change their lives. The 1951 penny embodies that dream, blurring the line between luck and legacy. Another layer of intrigue comes from the metallurgical possibilities tied to post-war copper shortages and changing production standards, suggesting that some batches might have been produced with slightly different metal ratios, leading to color variations, subtle weight differences, and unique patina development over time, all factors that add to the scientific curiosity and collectible appeal. When such a coin combines multiple forms of rarity, like being an off-metal strike, a double die, and in pristine uncirculated condition, it becomes a perfect storm of desirability, the kind of numismatic phenomenon that makes headlines, dominates auction floors, and enters the record books. The fact that the San Francisco Mint had a reputation for meticulous craftsmanship makes these errors even more mysterious, because how could a facility known for quality control produce such anomalies? That question itself fuels the legend of the 1951 penny and keeps collectors intrigued by the idea that even the most precise systems can occasionally produce miracles of imperfection. When you think about it, each error coin is like a frozen moment in time, a tiny accident preserved for eternity, and that human element, of mistake, chance, and discovery, is what makes the story so powerful. The 1951 wheat penny's supposed $402 million valuation might sound unbelievable, but it reflects how the coin world measures not just metal and rarity, but also passion, mystery, and the allure of what might still be hiding out there in someone's pocket change or old coffee can. It serves as a reminder that even a humble 1-cent coin can embody a piece of history so precious that collectors, historians, and investors all dream of uncovering one. So next time you find yourself handling a handful of old pennies, take a closer look. You might be holding a fortune in disguise, a 1951 wheat penny with hidden errors and a story worth more than gold, a symbol of how small accidents in history can lead to unbelievable treasures, and perhaps the next great coin discovery waiting to astonish the world. Last 1958 wheat penny USA coin, everyone to another exciting deep dive into the fascinating world of rare coins, where tiny pieces of metal can turn into jaw-dropping treasures worth millions of dollars, and today's story will absolutely blow your mind as we uncover the incredible tale of the 1958 wheat penny, a coin that has stunned collectors and historians alike with its unbelievable value, estimated at a staggering $401 million, all because of its astonishing errors, minting mistakes, and unique history that make it one of the most mysterious and valuable pennies ever produced in the United States. Imagine holding a simple copper coin in your hand, a piece of change that once bought a few candies in the 1950s, now being considered worth more than some of the most expensive paintings in the world, and yet this is no ordinary penny. The 1958 wheat penny is a symbol of how small details and rare anomalies can create astronomical value in the numismatic world. Minted in Denver, Colorado, the 1958 penny is part of the Lincoln Wheat series, featuring the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, and on its reverse, the iconic wheat ears that represent the agricultural backbone of America. But within this otherwise ordinary design lies an astonishing series of minting errors that transformed certain specimens into legends. Experts and collectors speculate that a handful of these coins were struck with multiple mistakes, double dies, off-center strikes, planchet flaws, and even metal composition variations, that make them one-of-a-kind collectibles, each mistake adding layers of intrigue and value to this copper marvel. Some examples are believed to show a double die obverse, where the inscriptions like Liberty and the date 1958 appear slightly doubled due to a misalignment during the hubbing process when the die was being impressed multiple times. These double details may seem subtle at first glance, but under magnification, they reveal an unmistakable and rare pattern that collectors prize above all. Others report striking anomalies where the D mint mark appears misplaced, repunched, or shows faint doubling, suggesting that the mint worker manually punched the mint mark multiple times to adjust its position, a rare practice that occasionally produced fascinating mint errors. There are even rumors of 1958 D wheat pennies struck on leftover planchets meant for other denominations, possibly steel or silver blanks from earlier wartime production, creating composition errors that are practically impossible to replicate today. Imagine a penny accidentally struck on a foreign coin blank or on a nickel-sized planchet. Such a mistake could result in a piece of metal so unique that it defies ordinary explanation. When these rare combinations of errors occur in one coin, the result is a perfect storm of rarity, historical significance, and collector frenzy, which explains how a simple penny could skyrocket to such unimaginable value. Furthermore, the story behind the 1958 D wheat penny adds to its mystery and charm, as only a few verified examples have ever been authenticated, with many others rumored to exist but yet to surface, hidden away in private collections or perhaps sitting unnoticed in old coin jars in attics across America. The rarity is compounded by the fact that the official mint records never listed any unusual production notes for that year, meaning that these error coins likely slipped through quality control unnoticed, making their survival even more miraculous. For numismatists, that's the kind of discovery that defines a lifetime of collecting, a coin that shouldn't exist, yet does, and its very existence challenges the boundaries of minting history. The appeal of the 1958 D penny isn't just its technical errors, but also its connection to a golden era of American coinage, a time when craftsmanship, precision, and human oversight blended to create works of art, and occasionally, beautiful accidents. Every scratch, every doubling, every slightly off-centered strike tells a story of the mechanical rhythm of the Denver Mint, the machines humming and metal clanging as millions of coins were produced, and among them, a few anomalies were born, unnoticed, uncelebrated, until decades later when sharp-eyed collectors brought them into the spotlight. What makes the coin's supposed $401 million valuation even more astounding is the combination of rarity, market speculation, and historical fascination. High-profile collectors and wealthy investors are willing to pay astronomical amounts for such one-of-a-kind pieces, especially when their authenticity is verified and their stories backed by strong provenance. Just like art collectors fight over rare paintings, coin enthusiasts engage in fierce competition for unique mint errors, and when supply is nearly non-existent, the sky's the limit. Some even argue that if one of these rare 1958 D-era pennies were to appear in a major auction today, the buzz alone could push its value into record-breaking territory, making it a trophy of both numismatic and cultural importance. Experts also point out that there's something psychologically powerful about pennies, the idea that something so small, so humble, could be worth millions taps into a universal fascination with hidden treasure. It's like the modern-day version of a fairy tale. A penny from your grandfather's change jar could hold the key to unimaginable fortune. For collectors, the thrill lies not only in the financial gain but in the historical and scientific detective work that goes into identifying and verifying such coins. The 1958 D wheat penny represents that thrill perfectly, as each tiny imperfection on its surface is a clue to its origin story, the way metal was prepared, how dyes were used and reused, how machinery errors went unnoticed by mint inspectors, and how fate intervened to produce something extraordinary. Another intriguing factor adding to the legend of the 1958 D wheat penny is the confusion between similar years and mint marks. The famous 1958 double die penny from the Philadelphia Mint, without a D, is already one of the most valuable Lincoln cents known, with only a few examples discovered, selling for over $1 million each. So when whispers of a 1958 D version surfaced, a Denver minted counterpart showing its own unique doubling and striking errors, the numismatic world went into overdrive, with experts, collectors, and speculators all eager to uncover the truth. Could there really be a Denver mint version of the already famous 1958 double die? If so, how many exist? And if one did appear in pristine condition with certified authentication, could it surpass the value of its Philadelphia sibling? These questions fuel the ongoing fascination and justify the staggering estimated price tag of $401 million attached to the most legendary example of the 1958 wheat penny. Some stories claim that one such coin, in nearly flawless condition with clear doubling and a brilliant red luster preserved since minting, was sold privately to an anonymous billionaire collector, further driving up its mythic status. Others suggest that these ultra-rare pennies could still be out there, circulating quietly among average coins, waiting to be discovered by someone who looks closely enough. That's why collectors around the world inspect every wheat penny they find, especially those dated 1958 with a D mint mark, hoping to spot the subtle signs, doubled lettering, repunched marks, misaligned edges, or unusual metal tones, that could mean they're holding a fortune. Even experts use advanced technology today, such as digital microscopes and spectral imaging, to analyze these coins in extreme detail, tracing every groove and surface irregularity to understand how such minting miracles occurred. The human side of this story is equally captivating, as these coins connect generations, from the mint workers who unknowingly created them to the modern collectors whose passion and persistence keep their stories alive. There's also the broader lesson about value itself, how perception, rarity, and story combine to elevate an object far beyond its original purpose. The 1958 wheat penny, at its core, was just a 1-cent coin meant for everyday transactions, yet through an extraordinary mix of human error, time, and fascination, it became a multi-million-dollar artifact that bridges history and imagination. It serves as a reminder that treasures don't always come in gold or jewels. Sometimes, they hide in plain sight, resting in pockets, drawers, or coin albums, waiting for the right moment to reveal their worth. So the next time you come across an old penny, take a closer look. It might just be part of history, and who knows, you could be holding the next 1958 wheat penny, a $401 million piece of metal that changed the way we see value forever.